Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Talkies. Three filmmakers talking about movies. I'm Kenny.
I'm D.
I'm Taylor.
And today we are continuing our journey towards Matrix Resurrections. We have covered Matrix already, and today it's Matrix Reloaded.
Number two.
Click, reloaded.
Yeah, man.
Click.
This was the biggest hype I'd ever seen for a movie when it came out. It was pretty exciting.
I was really excited to see this when I first saw it. Let's talk about hot takes.
Hot takes on
I
Matrix
guess,
Reloaded, a movie I saw 20 years ago.
Yeah, cold takes.
I saw it last year
Really?
You saw
the first
for
time?
the first time?
for like the second time. I was a kid the first time I saw it.
Oh yeah.
So here's a funny fun fact.
Yeah.
This was my second time.
Oh yeah.
I only saw both sequels in the theaters.
So Tay,
Wow.
did you see it more than Kenny did?
Yeah. This is my third viewing.
Unfortunately, for the record, this is probably like my 20th viewing.
Yes.
Damn,
if
dude.
not more.
Damn.
D
Those
is
are some
slightly
pro
biased.
I might be a little bit.
Yeah. If you've
No,
missed,
he has taste.
if you're not one of our millions of raving super fans who knows all about our history
Yeah,
and
check
lore,
our sub count.
I'll just I'll just catch you up and let you know that Matrix comes up all the time between the three of us.
Yes.
And
Almost
D
as
is
much as Star Wars.
D is
Yeah.
always defending the sequels, the Matrix sequels, as cinematic masterpieces.
As gold.
Yeah.
As absolute cinematic gold. Yes. I'm
Yeah.
staring at my wife over there who's giving me some evil eyes. Mad dogging me.
GOLD.
Yeah. So let's dig into it then.
Yeah.
I'll hot take it. I'm ready.
Do it.
I got a hot take.
Do it.
All right. I maintain my opinion that this movie is cool and very stupid. Hot take.
That's
Damn.
hot. I'm burning.
Sizzling.
But I own it. It is cool.
Yeah.
There are some very cool things in this stupid movie. That's my hot take.
All right.
Yeah, my hot take is pretty much exactly the same. Like, there's a lot of really cool scenes in this movie. Does just not
In this stupid movie.
Yeah, in this stupid movie. it's not like it's kind of stupid. It's not so stupid. I've definitely seen much stupider movies.
Yes.
But like, this is what I would say. It's just not as cohesive. Like, it has a lot of really cool scenes, but it's just not a very cohesive like narrative, in my opinion.
Yeah. I have much to say, but let's get the hot takes out.
I will say I can't get out of my subjectivity that was built up before, my bias.
Really?
So yeah, I still hold in my opinion, which is this movie is amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now the hot takes are out.
Yeah.
Piggybacking on what you just said.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yes?
it's not cinematic gold. I was being sarcastic.
Yes.
Yes.
It was
Are you?
special to you. You're all pumped up on nostalgia. You
Yes.
were young.
It was big influence on you.
Big influence.
Yes.
And you're as a cinematographer.
Yeah,
Absolutely
The
a
way
big
you
influence, yeah.
visual
Built up.
storytell
Yeah.
is super Matrix influence.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
And it's a good influence to have.
Yeah.
I mean, visually speaking,
It's visually
awesome.
spectacular.
Yeah, it is.
yeah. But you said something about it being less cohesive.
Right.
And specifically when we compare it to the first film, that is what we spent half of the episode talking about last time, is how freaking lean the Matrix is.
Yeah,
right?
we did.
Right.
We did talk
The
about that.
Matrix is a tight, extremely well written, it's like a super well crafted screenplay.
Really well structured.
It follows all the rules.
Yeah.
Right?
It is absolutely Save the Cat.
It is a Save the Cat
Yeah.
screenplay, and there is no fat.
No.
It's also very, very lean in the edit. Like, the edit is
Yeah.
freaking perfect.
It goes story beat to story beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This film,
Hero's journey.
100% the opposite of that. and I know the Wachowskis had all this now fame and were given tons of leeway to be like, okay, do whatever you think is cool, you know? And that's what I'm sensing. It's like, well, we want to have all these like interesting conversations about philosophy. We want to have big, epic action scenes.
Yeah.
Each one is going to be a one-up on the big scene at the end of The Matrix. Right? We want to make that thing look silly, right, in comparison. And they succeeded in that, right?
Yeah.
But it's like every time a new character is introduced, they have to bring with them a lecture on some philosophical principle.
Yeah.
And every piece isolated is interesting and cool, but not cohesive.
That's funny. Yeah. Each of them would be like a philosophical short film. It's made up of a lot of those little things that are stitched together by the Matrix narrative.
Right. Well, let me compare it to a film by Linkletter called Waking Life. Now, in Waking Life, a person in sort of almost a dreamlike place wanders around meeting one character after another, and in each meeting has a philosophical conversation where they learn something about the nature of existence. Very slow, very content heavy, but completely cohesive, because it's literally what this movie is. It's like what you sign up for, and that's it.
Right.
Whereas this is that mashed up with massive, like almost Michael Bay type, action
stylized
sequences.
Action scenes,
So it's weird, and I also felt, I hate to even bring up the word, but it's a bit pretentious.
I can't get on that.
In that, I do feel like the movie wanted to be taken more seriously than it merited, specifically with all the philosophy versus like this faith kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Like we have all the answers, but we're only going to give you no answer all the time, over and over. And I got to a point where I was like, if someone does the "it is because it is" thing one more time, I'm going to puke. Like, it was getting tired. It got to where it wasn't interesting anymore.
Sure.
And it kind of one-dimensionalized Morpheus.
Yeah, it did.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like, he's not that interesting of a character in this movie. He just seems like a blind faith sort of dude.
Yeah.
He's a sheep.
Yeah. And in today's world, I would never have thought of it when this movie came out, but in today's world, it really... Morpheus didn't age well.
Right, yeah. No,
because he's talking like a vaccine denier, a climate change denier, the QAnon, that's what I'm seeing in the way Morpheus talks about his beliefs.
Yeah.
When other people are like, but we're about to be blown up. And he's like, Neo will save us because of belief.
You're a fucking psycho. This movie uses a lot of the same effects in the first movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like the first movie like invented a lot of those effects, like the bullet time stuff, and then in this one it's like every shot all the time, constantly, and more of it, it's like more of the same effects. I would have liked like some new effects, like some new things, instead of like they reused all the things they developed ripples and stuff. They just did it bigger.
It was just that, but more,
which is like cool, but it's not actually.
So that's my issue with actually the sequels and going forward to number 4, is that the Wachowskis, I feel like, have one great idea and then they don't go anymore. They're just like, okay, let's keep building on that same idea. But if you're finished, that's kind of why I love the series. Why I love the series so much. This movie came out in a time that I was starting to understand my taste in movies, which was anything that had to do with computers and with sci-fi. That was high level at the time. For me, what high level meant was philosophical. And so because this movie was both that, philosophical and sci-fi and had to do with technology, it was right in my wheelhouse. And so that is what I attached to. And when you guys, both of you, watch movies that you really, really enjoy, for example, a PTA movie, you guys can really attach yourselves, the same with Denis, to certain aspects of the movie where the director takes out things that are like logical, and rather replaces it with something more artistic, something that's more emotional. If you remember, what was that movie? You Were Never Really Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that entire movie basically is like, I feel like the kind of movie that you guys just absolutely love.
Accurate.
Right?
It was an awesome movie.
Would I be accurate in saying that?
Yeah, you can listen to the episode. We rave about it, and D hates it.
No, we talked about it. Yeah. So that movie, in which you guys are intuiting, or are not intuiting, are inferring from the movie, that's what I get from philosophical discussion and technological, I guess, discussion, as you will.
Yeah.
The whole idea behind the Matrix and why they're asking things. I keep asking things more in my head and keep tying things together that don't have any purpose, that don't actually need to be tied together because the script doesn't go that far.
Yeah.
But my head automatically does it.
Sure.
And that's why I love this so much.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that, and I respect it. But I'm going to respectfully disagree.
Great.
Because I would love any movie to do just that.
Yeah.
But does it have to be at the expense of a cohesive narrative?
See, it doesn't in my mind, because that's where it completes the narrative in my mind.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So
I see.
there's obviously.
So you're the missing part.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. There's obviously gaps in this narrative. Like Morpheus, like you said, did become one-dimensional.
Yeah.
You know, he only had one thing, but in my mind, he still has that whole really interesting backstory that I keep building up in my mind. So I'm just putting it out there. That's why I love this so much, is because I am inferring so much to it.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
I like that's how I watch movies.
Yeah, and it actually gets really annoying when someone is like this, me, because you can't argue with them because they'll always have an answer.
Well, that's really funny because this is the argument you'd had against us.
Absolutely.
Many
Absolutely.
times.
Yeah, in 1917 actually was another one that I was super attached to emotionally, and you guys weren't.
Yeah.
And therefore you looked at it more cold than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Almost every movie that we talk about, it's usually switched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is funny. Something about this movie, and I think this has to do with sequels in general, is like something happens when you make a sequel where it's like you become, there's a self-awareness.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden the movie becomes sentient when before it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that always feels weird.
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I generally only see that avoided when it's a planned trilogy.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Lord of the
where
Rings.
from the outset or something, they
Yeah.
already have a full objective of where they're going. But yeah, there's always this like awareness that not only it's aware of itself, it's aware of the previous movie.
Right.
It's aware of the experience the audience had in
Yes.
the previous movie, and it has to make little winks to that experience.
I also really hate that.
Yeah.
I can forgive it, obviously, in this
Yeah.
movie.
Of course.
But I see that in the trailer for the fourth movie.
Oh, sure.
like
Right?
even
There were
worse.
all these little
Yeah.
things where it's like, remember this? Remember that?
It's
Right.
no longer, it's not even being subtle at that point. It looks like
Yeah.
it's going to be just a part of the plot even.
It might
Yeah,
be.
might be.
It might
Yeah.
be. Yeah, the fact that they're even using pills again, the fact that they're going back to the first movie, from what they
Yes.
have exact scenes. From
They're
the
literally
first movie,
walking
so.
Neo through scenes from the first movie.
Right.
You're like, remember this? They're
Yeah.
like literally like, remember
That-
this time you did
That
this?
and that takes me back to you saying that it's like the Wachowskis had one good idea,
Yeah.
right? Because here's the Matrix masterpiece.
Yeah.
Matrix 2 and 3, like you said, they're not innovating any new technology. They're just doing it again, but bigger and better because it's what's cool at the time. Now we've like gone so much farther. We could do so much more than
Right.
we did back then, but they're going to do what they did back then
Right, they are.
to reference
Yeah.
that original movie
We're
again.
not
Yeah.
pushing forward anymore.
Yeah.
So because I was hoping that something different would happen with Matrix 4. When you and I first watched I'm talking to Kenny. When you and I first watched the trailer, there was a countdown on, or we saw the teaser is what it was. There was a teaser website that you could go to, and it would say what time it was in the character's voice. So Morpheus would say, "You believe it to be 8:01 right now," but then when Kenny watched it, it was like, "You believe it to be 10:03 right now."
Was it always real time?
And yeah,
Yeah.
it was always real
That's
time.
cool.
And what
It
was
was
neat
good.
about it
It's a good
was,
effect.
yeah, it was utilizing AI basically, right? So you could take the person's voice,
Okay.
and they used AI to make it,
Say
what
whatever
they wanted to. And I was like, holy crap, are they actually going to put new technology like this? Are they going to reference new stuff like this in the older series? And I was like, that would be amazing. I really want to see what they do. But then I saw the trailer and I'm like, no, it looks like they're just going, like you said, going back to that one idea that they had and be like, okay, now let's do some more stuff with it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So there was an innovation in this one.
Yeah.
I use the term innovation in the Matrix universe. And that is this idea that sort of like glitches in the Matrix could materialize as things like ghosts and werewolves and vampires, right? So that was taking a new idea and bringing it up into the world. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping we get something like that in the fourth movie, where they come up with just other... that there's more like there's no way we could possibly understand all the things about what the Matrix is from these movies we've seen, and I'm going to be really disappointed if they just assume that we do. Right.
Yeah.
Well, you already know all the rules, so you're just going to see stuff you've already seen.
So that's why
it's a whole universe.
Yeah, that's why I was so excited when I watched this and I saw the architect scene for the first time.
Yeah.
Or when I saw, like you talked about, the ghosts or even the vampires that they introduced in here. Like, it was them reaching out and growing the universe and showing what's possible with the tools that they have. And that's the reason why I love the Animatrix so much, is because all these short films are made up of tools from that universe. And that's what I love so much, is the universe. And so anything that they make from it is awesome.
Yeah, you just want to know more about the universe.
Exactly. I just want to see more. So one of the things I'll talk about, and Kenny usually references books, people who make movies based off of books. In here, The Matrix, I don't think was based off a book, but it was, I talked about this before, but they made Enter the Matrix, the video game, and tied it into Matrix Reloaded, the movie. And not a whole lot of people played Enter the Matrix, and so it didn't get a whole lot of buzz, but there were times where they had scenes that they specifically shot on film, utilizing the same actors, same sets for the game. And so there's even a whole guy and a whole another character called Nicholas, or not Nicholas. I think I almost said Nicholas Sparks.
That's an author.
He's in the fucking Enter the Matrix.
Yeah, so
Nicholas Sparks.
There's one guy. There's one guy in Enter the Matrix that you talk with using the Matrix keyboard. You type to him and stuff, and he guides you through stuff. And he's a character that they didn't introduce in the third movie, but was introduced in the second part in the video game. Anyway, there's other scenes that you play through that then coincide with this movie. One of them is when Niobe catches Morpheus on the freeway. You're the one who's playing Niobe at that time, and you go to that moment because you know he's going to fall off the car because of all this other stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Love that stuff.
Wait, so in the movie Matrix Reloaded, when that scene happens, there's somebody playing her?
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean?
The video game, like that. There's a player.
No.
In control. Is that canon?
That's cool. That would be cool, actually.
What's canon is what's happening at the same time. Yeah. Concurrently.
So, to something you mentioned when we were watching, there was a moment where you said, "This is the biggest plot hole in the story." Right?
Yeah, it is.
And it's when Neo controls things with his powers when he's not in the Matrix.
Yeah, he's suddenly God. Right? Yeah.
And there really seems to be only two possible explanations for this. Either Neo isn't human, right? Like maybe he has some other technology inside of him that allows him to be connected to the machines in the real world, right? Or it's not the real world.
Right.
And he's still an anomaly even when he's not plugged into the Matrix, because this is part of some other kind of simulation as well.
So that was my first guess.
It seems like it would have to be.
It seems like it.
And it seems to fit nicely with this kind of story we're telling, right?
It does, but it's not
But it's never paid off.
It's never talked about again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the third movie doesn't,
it doesn't really address it.
It doesn't address it, yeah.
So either are the Wachowskis lazy filmmakers that are just like, hey, let's make it look like he's more of a messiah by giving him powers.
They might. I mean, in that respect, they might be,
I've
quote,
seen them be lazy before. We know that's in them.
I mean, they probably had some idea of what they were doing with that.
Yeah.
they gave
I
him a
don't know if
line. You know, he said something's different.
Yeah, he says I can feel them.
Yeah.
So that means there was a day where they were sitting down at the computer writing that, and they wrote that line with some kind of intention
Exactly. Yeah, there was intent behind it.
somewhere.
Something.
Well, what I was thinking is that a transition just happened before that.
Yeah.
Right? Two possible things. One is they were just plugged in and then they unplug, right? So it could be that in that moment they went somewhere else. They didn't go back into the real world, right? But they woke up into an alternate matrix or something like that.
Yeah.
Or this is the first time we've ever seen them outside of a ship and not in Zion, right?
Yeah.
So there could be something related to that as well.
You could build on that, you know, depending on what you want to believe in the third movie, because the third movie has to do with Smith now that he's inside of Bane. Because there's a whole nother level to that also.
Bane.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. So interesting thought. I like that.
Yeah. Yes. And I guess I'll suspend more conversation on the whole story and how it may work or not work at all until after we get into the third movie.
The third one has so much more like lore in it.
And then you have to suspend more conversation until the fourth movie.
So yeah, I feel like the fourth one isn't going to add any lore, and I think that's, I don't know. I feel so weird about the fourth movie. Just I feel so sensate about it.
This feels terrible to say, but I almost feel about Matrix 4 the way I felt about Bill and Ted 3.
Damn.
Because it just seems it seems purely a fan service idea.
Oh yeah. And the fact that only Lana is there, it's purely not a passion project. It can't be.
It seems, yeah. It seems to honestly just be banking on the fact that Keanu is bigger than ever.
He's much bigger now. Yeah.
And that's why Bill and Ted happened.
I mean, shit.
as well.
So Lily stepped away from the project saying, I don't want to return back to that world.
Right.
Because it's painful. Like, the fact that there's zero passion in there, half of the visionary is gone.
Yeah, that's insane, right?
Yeah.
That's insane, yeah.
Yeah, half of the visionary has no passion for it to keep going.
Yeah, imagine if Denis said something like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's going to make Dune Part 2, and he's like, actually, I learned something about myself, during that filmmaking process. Turns out I hate filmmaking, and they just do it anyway.
He said, but I signed the contract.
Right. That would be terrible.
That would be scary.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening with me.
Yeah, there's very real reason to be skeptical.
Well, at least she's not doing it.
Right. No, at least Lily, yeah.
But it does bring into question what's
Lana?
Her motivations. I mean, she might have genuine motivations, I'm sure.
Hopefully. I hope. Absolutely.
I tend to assume the best of certain...
Do you?
certain directors, I guess. Even though the Wachowskis aren't super impressive these days.
What are you talking about? They made the best movies.
They've made some of my all-time favorite cinematic experiences, like without question.
Sure.
Matrix, V for Vendetta, Speed Racer, and Cloud Atlas are like just gems to me. They're so freaking cool.
Yeah, I keep returning to V for Vendetta despite the really weak screenwriting. I feel like that's not a well-written movie.
Really?
Yeah, but I love it. I love the movie.
The memes ruined that movie for me.
Well, that's
I see
accurate.
Guy Fawkes mask.
Oh,
and I'm
geez,
like,
that sucks.
Anonymous.
That
That's
sucks.
We are
true.
Legion.
Yeah.
That sucks that even happened.
Yeah.
Oof. Actually,
I love
kind of
Hugo
happened with The
Weaving's
Matrix, too.
performance in that movie. I just think he's freaking great.
Yeah.
And Natalie Portman. It's an awesome
Oh, yeah.
movie.
I forgot she's in that.
Yeah.
Speed Racer is like a fucking acid trip.
I've never seen
freaking
It's crazy.
Cool. It is really unique.
Hyperactive. Yeah, I have not really seen a movie like that, honestly.
Not at all. Yeah.
I haven't seen the original Speed Racer either, so.
It's like, let's make a family-friendly film while on acid.
Yeah.
That's what happened there.
Crazy.
Oh, like Spy Kids 3D?
Yeah, Spy Kids 3D game
That
over.
may be the most comparable thing I could think of.
Oh, dude,
in
you know
terms
what?
of aesthetic.
There's a scene in Spy Kids 3D Game Over where they race, like there's a big race It's all CGI. The whole thing is CG, and it's crazy. It's like a crazy race. And that's what Speed Racer is.
The weirdest phenomenon of the Talkies is how often that film has come up. That is,
we should cover it.
It is. We.
Oh my God,
I feel like
should.
we have to.
That would be awesome.
That's the
crap.
single
That would be
strangest
so
thing
funny.
about like we've literally. I want to go back and count, but we've talked about
A
Spy
supercut of
Kids 3D, Spy Kids 3,
Spy Kids 3D Game Over.
That's the
3D
third
Game
one, right?
Over,
Yeah, that's the third one.
hundreds of times.
I've
Yeah.
only seen the first one, and I never want to go back to that
Oh,
universe.
you know what? Spy Kids 2 is actually a good movie. It's
Yeah.
actually quite
Is it?
good.
How about
Yes.
Lava Girl and Shark Boy?
That movie's ass. I saw that when I
I'm
was a kid.
so
when it
disappointed.
came out, I was
So
hyped for it
disappointed.
too.
Oh
I
my
remember,
gosh.
and I was like, even as a kid, I didn't
What
like
a
that movie.
letdown.
I was like, this is ass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of ass,
Matrix.
the CG in
Oh,
Matrix. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it got dated so fast. That's
Wow.
the thing that surprised me the most about
Yeah.
specifically the human stuff.
It's because they
right?
actually did substitutes here, where they had
Yeah.
literally put in 3D models
Yeah.
of people.
Right, which is done all the time now.
Yeah,
But it
because
can
we
be
have
done.
photorealism
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, but
But we did then. This was like Final Fantasy looking.
it does look like Final Fantasy.
yeah. But usually it's like you see a movie and you go, wow, look at those cool new effects. And then about 5 to 6 years later, then you're like, oh, they're
Sure.
starting to wear off.
But
This was immediate.
yeah, and exactly. Well, there's a few things that you don't do as a CG artist. One of those things is to put your characters or whatever it is that you're showing that you know is not photorealistic. Maybe they just thought it was. I don't know. You don't put it in front of the camera in clear daylight, completely,
Yeah.
unfiltered. You put some sort of filter in front of it, whether it's fog, whether it's through another camera. Even Jurassic Park, right? Jurassic Park is a big example. Or even
Jurassic Park has better CGI than Matrix
Jurassic Park
2.
has believable CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
it
is
does.
weird.
That is weird,
Right?
isn't it?
That was in 90. What was that?
Like
96?
94 or something like that.
94.
Somewhere around there. Wasn't it?
And freaking the Matrix 3 did learn from it. They have a whole CG fight scene between Neo and
Oh, it's rain, right?
yeah, but and it's rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the rain. I mean, they do some weird effects with
CG
the rain.
rain.
Yeah, because they have CG rain.
Oh, and they do that punch thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
love that. But what's cool about it is that it acts as a filter. It makes
Yeah.
you go, okay, I can
Add some layers of foreground elements,
Yeah.
get some texture on the skin.
Yeah,
obscure.
yeah,
They're
kind of.
less waxy.
They must have not cared, right?
I can't figure it out honestly because the CGI that was in the freeway was
better.
was
Yeah.
way better
Yeah.
than any other part of the movie.
It's the people. It's the way they move. It's the way Agent Smith move
His
in
rubber
that scene. Yeah,
weirdness.
they like bend and it's like all their bones are rubber.
yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It
was
doesn't look
Well, it was
right.
a super ambitious idea.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they're like pulling it off like up to a point. It's like half
Right.
of that fight scene is very cool
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're still following the rules of like a regular kung fu movie. It's
Yeah, like the
humans
choreography's
brawling that are
good.
choreographed.
Right, right.
It's as soon as they're like, now we want it to matrixize it. We want it to start doing things that are impossible.
Right.
And the way they decided to do this was CGI instead of with bullet time and cables.
Right.
Right. And yeah, it just the tech wasn't there.
No. Yeah. Some of the cable stuff I don't like either, but
Well, they overdo it in
Yeah.
this film.
Yeah.
I mean,
What-
it's way too much.
the cable stuff in the first one was almost like an aesthetic to the film.
Yeah.
It was a flare.
Yeah, and it was just like it's fun because like it's fake, but I'm gonna ride this ride.
Yeah.
But
it was,
in
like,
this
peaceful.
one, it was
You
like
could almost see the access points
You
of
can.
the cables. That's
Yeah.
what bothered me.
no, and like one
It's
of the
like, I even know where he's attached.
yeah, exactly. Like one of the things that Keanu Reeves does is when he comes down from one of his kicks or some shit. I don't know when he lands and he does this number. He goes like.
For the listening audience, you need to describe what you just did.
I know. I'm trying to think of what scene it was.
You're saying that when he lands, you see his gravity shift, basically.
I see
He
him
flops.
I see him bracing for impact.
Right.
And I see that everywhere and all these other
Yeah.
ones. It's way noticeable with Keanu because he's such a stone actor. So it's really, really obvious when he braces. But like everybody else does it too in the movie, and it's really weird when someone like gets kicked before they get kicked, you know, and lands before they land, like
and like falls into punches and stuff.
Yeah,
I think they blew in this film is that in the first film the agents had so much menace.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, the line, the exact line was that if you see an agent, run. Right? You're dead.
Yeah.
If you see an agent. They're extremely deadly, become just within a hair of killing Morpheus.
Yeah.
Right? The best of them.
Right.
And the idea that Neo's the chosen one and has amazing abilities is cool. But the idea that he could single-handedly fight off 1,000 agents at once is absurd. And with the ease.
Sure.
With the ease that he pulled it off.
Yeah.
It just it just reminded me of Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Right? Where they're just like,
the
Stormtroopers missing every shot, but every time a good guy fires a blaster, 3 Stormtroopers fly through the air like they're made of bubbles.
Yeah. It's like Agent Smith is actually just kind of weak now.
Yeah. Maybe he loses potency every time he duplicates.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they did have a lot more menace. It's because of the fight scenes.
He's also less interesting in this.
See, I would disagree
He's
with you because
maniacal.
of the lower thing.
No, he gets a little more interesting in the next movie, I think.
I don't know. I think he gets less interesting in the next movie.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah.
Well, I like the idea that he leaves the Matrix because this whole idea of like a program can exist anywhere, technically, right? And so that idea is cool, and it has more ramifications in the third movie. Like it's just kind of introduced in this. So, But in the first movie, we have this this really cool idea introduced that he's uncomfortable as an agent, that he hates his job and he wants out.
That's
you
true.
know?
Yeah.
Like it's really like you're like, oh, he's like a complex character, and in this he just is like me, more of me, and telling jokes, like doing puns about duplicating himself.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem that interesting.
It's like he lost all his focus in a way.
To me,
did he lose his purpose?
It's purpose, Mr. Anderson. That whole sequence.
How do you rationalize this?
So I rationalize it because
mental gymnastics.
What is your? I know you have.
How do you sleep at night?
I have what?
Opinions.
I do have opinions.
I want to hear.
You want to hear them?
Yeah.
I feel like Agent Smith is already fulfilled what he's wanted to do. And in the third movie, he kind of becomes -1. If Neo is the one, he's -1, right?
Okay.
And he's already won. In my mind, Smith has already won.
By what point?
At the end of the first, or beginning of the second movie.
Okay.
Where he starts duplicating himself and he's, quote, set free. So, like you said, Kenny, he does, in the first movie, he hates being an agent. He hates being a part of the system. And he says, it's the smell, right?
Yeah. It's a good line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, so Neo sets him free by killing him. And then he reappears, and now he's a sentient program that's more sentient than those other agents that are trying to still do their jobs as to finding exile programs and whatnot. So, because now he is free, I feel like he can play around now. So he doesn't become more potent to me. To me, he's messing around with Neo, and he's kind of like the putties in Power Rangers. He's there to be a barrier.
So he's pointless.
No, up until the third movie, again, my bias, up until the third movie where it culminates into like where Smith is literally taking up an entire city, and it's Smith everywhere, and he's already won. So now he's going to take down Neo because that's just an obvious conclusion, but he overestimates himself and falls because of it. I think all of his character is saved for the last moment in the third movie. And
so the second movie's pointless.
No, not pointless. It's fun in the same way that that someone who would like the same kind of lore playing out in like Toy Story 2 would be, or something like that.
I wouldn't go that far. What I would say is this is more analogous to Pirates of the Caribbean Part 2.
It's funny because I was gonna say Pirates first, but I said Toy Story instead.
Toy Story. Toy Story 2 is a pretty freaking solid movie.
Wait, one more thing about
Pirates
this
2
movie.
is pretty good too.
Matrix 1 is about Neo, and 2 is about Trinity. The third one.
I would not say 2's about Trinity at all.
What would you say it's about?
Fuck if I know.
Yeah, exactly. I would say it's about Trinity.
It's more from Neo's perspective.
No,
Neo's
it is, yeah.
worried about Trinity dying.
Yeah, no, I would say like, if you wanted to say the entire series is Neo's journey, I suppose that's what they're basically doing. Again, my bias.
Trinity had more
coming
screen.
I'm
here.
thinking about it
Trinity
now.
had more lines in the first movie. than
No,
the second
okay. If
movie.
Trinity wasn't in here, then there'd be no purpose of the movie happening. Obviously.
She's like the MacGuffin.
Okay, yeah, she's the MacGuffin.
Specifically preventing her death.
Yeah, well,
okay.
trying to prevent her death is what causes everything to happen, right?
Okay.
So I would say that's what the movie's about.
Okay, you're saying it's about her as an object.
As an object. Not,
Got it.
She's a MacGuffin.
Yeah, not so much as her as a person.
She's the inciting incident and the MacGuffin.
She is, yeah.
Got it.
I would say the third movie should be about Morpheus. I hate the third movie, thinking about it. I hate the ramifications of it. I forgot what we were talking about.
I can't. I was gonna say is now that I'm thinking about the second movie more. I don't know what it's about.
What the second movie's about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm down with that.
I would say the second and third movie is one movie that's split into two.
Yeah. Then they didn't they like make it at the same time?
I think so. I mean, this one ends with to be concluded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they knew they were doing another one.
Yeah, it pulled it back to the future thing.
Yeah. I think they even came out close to each other.
Yeah, they did.
They're
yeah,
one
it was
year
1
apart
year
from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Christmas Eve, 2 years in a row.
and it
Damn.
was it is one story, but it's about what happens after Neo like becomes the one in the Matrix, what else happens in the world. And the story is that the Matrix resets.
Okay.
That's what the whole story is about. But if you want
It's
to split it into
on
two,
its way to resetting.
yeah, and it's about Neo, the anomaly, fighting what he's supposed to do, fighting against the reset until it happens. And
Yeah.
so it's inevitability. It's what's his name Smith is always saying, but it's split into two. And when you split that kind of arc into two pieces,
It
yeah, the
makes
second
middle
one doesn't make
feels
any
weird.
sense.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
I
I get
what
that.
I would say.
Okay. That's why I feel this way then.
that actually sounds better. You made it sound better than I felt like it was. That's a good.
Well, good.
That's a good.
This is a great movie.
That's a good defense. Because
See,
what
this is Dune Part 1, guys.
What I
Yeah,
always-
that's what came to mind.
What I
actually.
always felt about I think there is a trilogy phenomenon that happens.
Yeah.
Where people are like, okay, here's the story we'll tell to turn this into a trilogy, but part 2 becomes a bridge.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
It becomes a
act 2.
bridge.
Yeah.
And there's not enough moving pieces to make the story go, and so they end up sort of bloating it with stuff, like
Yeah.
just filling it up with
Absolutely.
big exciting action scenes, but really the movie is to say we left off here, we're going there.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's Pirates too.
It is, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff happens, but it's really just like
It's to get to another point.
it's just pointing.
right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be a much more interesting movie, I think, because part 3 of The Matrix is filled with such filler, and it's not even good filler like they do in number 2. Number 2 was all about, hey, how much action can we get in one up in the first one, but you can't do that again in the second movie. So,
Yeah.
So
right. So what do you
So
do?
many
Yeah.
awesome set pieces in this film.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean
and they don't do
the
it in the
temple, the temple sequence with the orgy and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was freaking awesome.
Yeah, I even love the fight with Seraph in the
I do too.
little house. Yeah.
It was really good. All of the hand-to-hand combat stuff was freaking great. The freeway scene is just a icon.
Insane.
Absolutely love.
It's an
That's
icon.
crazy scene.
Even the ridiculously stupid battle in that palace foyer on the
with
stairs
with the vampires.
was still crazy cool,
love 'em.
right?
Love them.
Like, yeah, I can get on board with all that, but again, it's just doesn't
Yeah.
seem to go anywhere.
This Matrix 2 is a movie that feels like it's really weird because it feels kind of bloated to me, but also at the same time, I feel like every scene matters.
Right.
Like that's weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I felt like every single scene moved the story along in a meaningful way.
But maybe small.
Yeah, maybe like too small and in like ways that are odd.
Well, I just think there was never an indicator of
Just a
where
strange
we were
pacing.
going.
Yeah.
So
Right,
it felt like movement was happening.
Hey.
But there was I never understood the path we were on in the first, because everything was, I don't know why we're doing this. We're just supposed to.
So that's
now we're
interesting.
going to go here. It happened because it was supposed to happen.
Right.
You know?
So with my bias looking into this, when I was watching it, what I didn't realize until now is that I know what is going to happen in the movie because I've seen it so many times. And because of that, it makes each scene much more enjoyable because I'm not watching it for the first time and I'm understanding the choices that they're making for what reasons they're going to make them, which is really interesting.
Yeah, but that's not how you're supposed to ingest a movie.
Well,
There's no such thing.
no, who was it? One of us had said something about, there was some movie that we watched that we said, yeah, it's not really, you should watch this movie like at least 2 more times.
Yeah.
Whatever movie it was.
There's been a few movies we've said that about.
Well, there you go.
Fellini.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Fellini.
Yeah,
There's
I think
no
that's perfectly
way-
valid.
There's no way
Yeah.
someone could watch Mother or 8 and a
Yeah.
Half and be like, oh yeah, that was great, yeah.
I did that though,
Actually,
with
stop.
with
Mother.
Mother,
No, and
I,
stop. I mean,
I
one
100% felt that
I
way
have
with
not
Mother.
seen Mother twice.
Well, shame on you. Shame
I
on
would
you.
like to see it twice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
but
haven't.
that was a poor choice, honestly. You should keep that
Okay,
that movie
whatever-
did not require a
Whatever
second viewing.
cryptic movie then.
La Dolce Vita.
No, not no. I've never watched that movie again.
David Lynch films.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Say
Every
take,
David Lynch film. How
yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Jack do?
Yeah. I want to see that.
Watch
again.
that 14 times at least.
That's
Yeah.
Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
Boulevard.
Yeah, Mulholland Drive.
What is it?
Mulholland Boulevard.
Mulholland Drive.
Drive?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it right. Okay.
No, yeah.
Sunset
Mulholland
Boulevard.
So for that, so Mulholland Boulevard,
Mulholland
Sunset
cul-de-sac.
Boulevard, Mulholland Drive,
Sunset
Mulholland
Circle
Freeway.
Sunset Drive,
Mulholland Bridge.
in Mulholland
Mulholland
Drive.
Street.
Yeah, that was a film that definitely made I enjoyed more as I got more world experience.
Yeah, or Enemy even.
Enemy.
Definitely
yeah.
Enemy.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not comparing Enemy to The Matrix,
You
Why not?
should.
but the two, but they have the same kind of thing, and I feel like The Matrix is made as a blockbuster
You literally
movie.
just compared The Matrix
Shut
to
up.
Enemy.
Well, I think you should have. So
In Enemy, there's things that you don't understand until you've watched it over and over, and you begin to make connections that you didn't have before.
You are right. It's valid. You're valid. You're validated.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
free
Thank you.
parking. You're
Here's
validated.
a gold
Thank you.
star.
Thank
Let me
you.
stamp your ticket.
Thank you.
You
I
want
know.
a fucking trophy? Jeez.
I know this isn't about Matrix 3 yet, but I want to say that Matrix 3 feels more like thematically and like lore wise, like more compelling to me
Yeah.
than the second one, but is a worse movie than the second one.
I
at the
would
same
actually
time.
like 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
I remember having this conversation immediately after seeing Matrix 3 that Matrix 1 was a perfect combination of a very intelligent, interesting idea and a action movie and a very exciting action movie, and that these sequels seem to separate those two things.
Yeah. And it's
Like-
because they're one movie.
Yeah, but why not? Well, why half and half? You know?
Yeah, no,
It feels like number 2
Right.
is the exciting action,
Right.
and number 3 is like
Lack of
more
cohesion.
interesting ideas.
Like why would it? Yeah, why would they separate the two? I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Yeah, but yeah, if they had made one movie, I imagine they would be all over the place.
I could see executive pressures causing that.
probably.
Where it's like the second movie, they're like, okay, we want all this stuff to happen
Yeah.
in that second movie to get people just super hyped and excited, and then the filmmakers are like, well, now we have to wrap up the story though, and it's going to take us like 3 hours,
Right.
You know,
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it totally
maybe.
could be the
I
case.
could see that.
Executives are always the enemy. They're the enemy.
Just blame.
I blame the execs on anything.
Thank you.
Anything I don't like, it's the executive's fault.
Especially if I like the directors.
Right.
I love the lore of the Matrix and how the architect explains basically the lore.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I like the lore when I think about it.
Yeah.
I don't like it when it's presented to me in the movie as much.
It feels good in both in the movie and my brain.
Yeah.
To me. So when the architect says this is the 6th time this has happened, you're the 6th one, I like lost my mind, and I just loved that so much. I don't know if that just speaks to the nihilist in me, or if it's just because it's such an interesting thing to say that the hero is not really the hero. He's just another version. Mm-hmm. I like that.
And it makes sense within a computer context.
Yeah. Yeah. And the idea that he's logically an anomaly that comes out of a otherwise perfect equation.
Yeah, he's
I love that.
A byproduct.
Yeah, he's a byproduct, right?
That's
just absolutely
fucked up.
It's quite ingenious, actually, to literally use the hero's journey, right? Which they do in this film. They use the archetype of the hero's journey,
right?
Pretty dang, like to the letter, right? Yeah. But then make the hero literally a non-important thing, like the hero, like you said, is a byproduct of a system and not the expression of free will that the hero typically is. Right. That's pretty crazy.
And that, I think that is why I hate so much the plot hole that I would say is because
they make him too magical.
Yeah, because they make him, because he's now important.
Yeah, it implies a greater importance.
Right. And I hate that.
I almost wish they leaned into it more.
Oh yeah, I wish they would go one way or the other.
Well, yeah, they don't really bring it up again.
Well, I think this is what. No, not that. I mean the fact, like this idea that Neo isn't important.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Because the first movie very much went standard hero journey. The triumph of the human over the computer was happening in front of us.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
The second movie kind of robs that away from you.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a gut punch.
And
and that's cool.
It is.
But I feel like they kind of squander that, especially
in this movie.
Well, first by showing Neo's still magical, right, and then in the third movie, if I remember correctly, it feels like they don't really. I remember feeling like it didn't settle on either side of that.
I mean, do you guys care if we talk really quick about the end of the third movie?
I don't
think we should wait.
Should I suspend it?
Suspend it.
All right, let's wait.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a thing on that.
Yeah,
we gotta leave some content for the next one.
Okay.
All right. Tune in next time, folks.
I got stuff to say though.
All right, say more, and then we're going to compare this movie to a pizza somehow.
Say more, then we end. God, say what you got to say.
Just get it over with. I'm ready to die.
I have 2 points.
Tell me.
Okay, make them.
2 separate points.
Tell me.
God, say it.
Okay, I will start with my first of 2 points. I'll do the first one first.
You're genuinely frustrating me.
It felt like they restarted Neo's hero's journey in this one. Mm-hmm. It felt like it started at the beginning again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that frustrated me. That felt tedious.
That he was back, even though he's like super powerful now, but at the same time he's like, I don't know.
Right.
What to do? I'm not good enough.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, didn't you come to that? Like,
wait,
didn't we come
how
to?
Though? What do you mean?
Well, like what Kenny was saying.
But I mean, what points specific?
Well,
at the beginning, he's like
where he's
so
afraid of the dream.
Unsure. Yeah, he's afraid of the dream. He's so unsure of like people around him.
It's
he's
it's like Luke going back into the cave.
Yeah, he denies. There's even like a call to action from the Oracle.
Yeah,
he's like no. When he gets told something,
that was hilarious to me. Yeah, when he's talking to the Oracle and literally like reverts his memory almost.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
Yeah, like dude, you're the one. You know.
Do you not remember the first movie?
Yeah. Yep. It's funny. That's what frustrated me so much about the new Star Wars movies. Star Wars Hour.
All right.
was this thing of again Luke Skywalker seeming to like double back on his entire progress of his heroic journey.
Yes.
Right? It's like, hey, here's a big twist. Luke is a hermit on an island and really unsure of himself and and it's like, okay, well, you robbed the fans of the hero's journey we just went through with this character. And there was a definite sense of that, I think, with this too. It felt like we should have been moving on to something new that wasn't there.
Yeah. To me, it makes the first like 20 minutes of this movie really tedious.
You got me a little right there.
Good.
Little gut punch there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It makes me feel something.
Oh no. Oh, you're having a faith crisis. Hey, not everyone believes what you believe, D.
Doesn't matter.
What?
Damn, you're such a dick, dude.
You have another point. What was your other point?
And my other point was...
Make this one second, though.
This is my second one. I finished my first point.
To review.
First point has been concluded, and I am now moving on to the second point, which I will do now.
Which is following the first.
Which is following the first one. The points are not related.
God!
Maybe a little bit related. We'll see. So, the second point is that... I hate when conflict is cultivated for the sake of conflict.
Yes.
And there's that character, there's Link, right? That's his name, right? Link.
Yeah.
His like wife or whatever is her whole character exists for conflict.
Yeah.
Entire character is to generate conflict for Link.
We were talking about, we were like making fun of it during the movie.
We did.
We're saying, she doesn't believe in the prophecy, but she believes in
good luck charms.
Good luck charms, and then he doesn't believe in good luck charms, but he believes in the prophecy.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And she's mad at him because he's on a ship and stuff, and she's just mad at him.
Yeah.
And that's like all like I don't care.
Right.
And it's just annoying because it's conflict and it's just there for the sake of it.
That added to the bloatedness of this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Link's character in general, like actually just Link himself seemed to be like, hey, you know what? We need a little more human interest in here.
It's like they regretted killing Tank.
Link.
Yeah.
Let's make Link and give him some backstory, give him this love interest. Like, it's going to hook people into some human interest here.
Dude, that feels very
Forced.
Sense8 to me. That's what Sense8 feels like.
Is that completely.
It's
like,
just, it feels like executive.
Sense8 was a cool first episode and an interesting idea, and then it was just like, oh, this is like literally a by the numbers type thing. Like I feel the influence of algorithms in this movie.
You guys have seen Heroes?
The TV show Heroes?
Yeah, so
man.
like the first season.
Season one's a freaking masterpiece.
And then after that,
it's
so
awful.
good.
So Humans does the same thing, another TV show.
Yeah.
Where first season, amazing. Second season, they start trying to humanize more stuff, and it just yeah. The thing about like sticking in humanization into certain parts of your script really does, I think, slow it down.
Yeah.
Makes it just
because it has to come out of the story.
Yeah.
Conflict should be like arise naturally, I feel like.
Naturally, exactly.
Well, and the conflict should be somehow connected to preventing the progress of the story, right? That's where that's the point of conflict in a movie,
right? And in this case, Link was not
had nothing to do with it.
It was like conflict just to be annoying.
It was, yeah.
That's what it felt like. It was just like, this is just like tedious,
right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. That's interesting. It was probably one of those reasons why I thought that guy Bane, when Smith entered his brain, when he went over there to stab Neo with a knife, like that whole sequence, I felt like, just why are you showing me this? Mm-hmm. I already know that he's Smith. Mm-hmm. I know he wants to kill Neo. You don't have to show me. He's obviously not going to do it right now. Mm-hmm. Get it out of here. Has nothing to do with the movie.
This movie was fat.
This movie had a lot of fat in it. Yeah.
Okay. Pizzas.
I have no idea how to compare this to a pizza. Like, remember how hard it was to do it for The Matrix?
It was.
That was tedious.
It was hard.
I don't even look forward to this. Is just out of tradition and obligation.
I think I have some.
Oh, that's it. It's a pizza you have to eat out of obligation. That's what this is. So it's like someone delivers a pizza and you're like, well, that's cool. I like pizza, but I didn't order it. And they're like, sir, you have to eat this pizza by law. And then they eat it.
Analog horror.
Yeah, that's what it was. There's my pizza. I stand by it. That's my pizza. Your turn.
My pizza.
Come on, I want to go home. I'm tired.
My pizza is one that I remember eating that was really good. But now that I look back on that pizza, what happened was the first 3 bites had all the toppings on it, but most of the pizza toppings on the back half slid off. And so when you start eating it, you're like, oh, this is great. And then you start figuring out, oh, wait a second, not all the stuff is there. Some of the sauce is off, and then the crust is burnt.
When you get to the end, you're like, oh, burnt crust, throw that away.
Yeah.
But
So
it was still good.
So you remember back, and you're just like, oh, no, that was good.
No, it was good. Once I threw away that crust.
The crust.
All right, that makes sense. All right, yeah, okay.
There you go.
Okay.
That's
Taylor?
Matrix Reloaded.
Taylor?
I'm thinking this is like probably like a Pizza Hut pepperoni pizza. Like, it's not really good, but like you eat it and it's like, that's kind of good.
If you're hungry, Pizza Hut pepperoni pizza is bomb.
Yeah, maybe.
And I guess you could say that for this movie too. If you're really hungry for an action movie.
I'm second guessing myself. I might be overrating it.
Oh no!
You're remembering
Just a
pizza and
little
you're like,
bit.
actually, that's kind of good.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I don't know. Oh, you know
Papa
what?
John's.
No, I know.
Oh god, don't do that.
I know what it is. It is Pizza Hut, but it's like a pepperoni pizza with like there's like olives.
Oh,
black olives. And
Well
it's
played.
Thank
Well
you.
played.
Thank
But I
you.
love
Yeah.
That was really good.
I don't. See, but
See,
you love The
see, it's
Matrix too.
perfect. It's perfect. It's actually perfect.
It's perfect.
But I love
yeah.
Well done.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's a good. I
I'm
cannot
genuinely
believe
impressed.
that by the end of this year we will have each created 4 fictional pizzas based on the Matrix. That just sounds like punishment.
12 pizzas.
timeline is this?
Yeah, it'll be 12. Yeah, 12 fictional pizzas based on the Matrix.
Jesus.
Yeah, it seems like a punishment.
We're gonna watch something next. What was?
Maybe we should just
I don't
watch
know.
the
I got
third
a
one
list.
next.
I mean, we got to watch
Oh.
Matrix 3. Ugh.
We
That's
should
not till-
do Spy Kids 3D Game Over next.
We got to do that.
Yeah.
I want to
That would
see
be
the Wes
so
Anderson
funny.
see.
Oh yeah,
French Dispatch.
I want to
Yeah.
see that too. I want to see
don't
that
wanna
in
see
theaters.
but I want to see it because I want to cover it.
You're
Yeah.
gonna fucking see that movie, dude.
Yeah, I'm not gonna see it.
You're gonna see it.
gonna see it,
Licorice
dude.
Pizza when that comes out.
Licorice Pizza.
Definitely
That
gotta
movie
see
looks
that.
fucking
Hell
great.
yeah.
Definitely gotta see that.
Yo.
And I think Matrix 4 is coming out sometime.
Christmas? That's Christmas. Yeah.
It said 22nd though, so
22nd of Christmas.
yeah, the 22nd
man.
of Christmas. Yeah.
The 22nd Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, Indus.
Hey, you've been listening to the Talkies. I'm very sorry. And
I'm so sorry.
and you know, we're Karman Line Studios, which is used to make movies. Now we just make the Talkies.
This is so sad. The fall.
Now we just talk about him.
And you know, we put out episodes whenever the hell we feel like it. So, you know, keep an eye out.
But it's cool because we don't have a Patreon, so
Yeah, we're not trying to plug.
It's not like I'm
anything.
asking you guys for anything.
Yeah, we don't
Or you
want
know
your
what?
money.
I have no expectations of you whatsoever. You don't got to share this shit. You don't got to sub. We do this for us. All right?
fuck you.
You.
I don't even care about the audience at all. All right? If you're still listening now,
Theory.
You please shut it off.
just get out
I
of here.
can't even believe
what are you even waiting
It's
for? You hoping to
pathetic.
pick a fight at the end of the show? Get lost, man. Beat it. Show's over. Get out of here. The end. I'm done.
Bye.
Tired of this shit.